Last week, a woman in her 50s waited in line outside of a bakery in Queens. It was about 2 o'clock, middle of the day, and a man came by, engaged in some sort of verbal altercation with her, and then threw her to the ground with such force that her head banged into a newsstand box and she had to be rushed to the hospital. Waiting in line at a bakery one moment, and an instant later, assaulted. The woman was Asian American. The violence is not isolated, it's a trend. Violence against Asian Americans is on the rise in our country, in our city, in our neighboring neighborhoods, and in our neighborhood. We at the Village Temple condemn this violence unequivocally. Let me ask you something. Is anyone here surprised? Shocked and appalled, of course, but surprised? Hateful rhetoric leads to hateful acts. When you drill on a public platform that this evil virus is the fault of one particular country and one particular people, you are putting a target on those people. When you politicize a plague, you promote violence. We stand with the Asian American community, both within our congregation and beyond. This place, our place, will be a safe place for all. Jews, we have a special window into this sort of hate because past is prologue. Around the year 1300, the Black Death had decimated the European population. The majority population blamed the plague on the minority people, us. The conspiracy theory then was that the Jews had poisoned well water, spreading brutal sickness and disease. The ruling class spread that lie quickly and effectively. They didn't have social media, and they didn't need it. For us, the result was expulsion from France, from England, and we were expelled from over 90 cities in Germany. Just leave. Get out. We don't care about your home or your children or your things. Just get out. Where should we go? There was nowhere. Or, if we weren't expelled, we were punished violently. Don't forget that the Jewish population, like all of the population at that time, was suffering from this deadly plague, but that wasn't enough for the angry mobs. They burnt us at the stake in public squares, they imprisoned us as a collective, and they placed suffocating economic sanctions on us as a people entire. We were the apparent disease spreaders. We were the obvious origins of the plague then. Let me ask you something. On what planet is it possible for me not to use this platform to speak out against this sort of hate against another people? We will not sit in silence and watch violence flourish and foment. We can't. And let me be clear. This is not a singular violent outburst that will be limited to a single population. Hate against one group busts open the door to hate against more groups. If you thought denigrating Mexican Americans, painting them as criminals, would not allow for the denigration of Asian Americans, you were wrong. It's Black History Month. If you thought that racism against African Americans would not lead to violence against other Americans, you are wrong. If you thought years of relentless denigration of Israeli Jews somehow would magically have no effect on us, on American Jews, you are wrong. Think about that. If you thought that the ugly chant of "send her back" would not enable the grotesque phrase "China flu," you are wrong. Once you articulate hate, it's just in the atmosphere. It's meteorological. Hateful thoughts allow for hateful thoughts. There is no parsing one group from another group in the mind of a hateful person. We celebrated Purim last night. It is about this. It's about a hateful person who spreads a lie, influences a leader, and tries to get us all killed. Megillat Esther, the Book of Esther, is a farce. It's a fanciful story that ancient civilizations laughed at. They thought it was hysterical. To imagine a Jew as the queen of Persia is pretty ridiculous, even now. The most outlandish part of it all is, of course, that we win. Our tiny, influence-less group has an impact over the policies of a king of a major Near Eastern empire. It's a farcical fantasy, a wish so outlandish it's comedic. That's not real. What we are living in now, this is the reality. That leaders have the power to spread discrimination, that leaders aren't always full of compassion, and these attacks against Asian Americans are the result. But if you can spread hate and violence, you can also spread love and peace. This is one of the few things almost all religions agree on. Buddhism says, hurt not others that which pains yourself. Christianity, in everything, do to others as you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets. Baha'i, lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. Hinduism, this is the sum of duty. Do not do to others what would cause pain if done to you. And of course, Judaism, my favorite. What is hateful to you? Do not do to your neighbor. This is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Now go and learn it. The thing is, those messages have to be spread with fervor as well. The same fervor that hateful people use to spread their messages. So this is not a sermon about reflection. It's a sermon about action. Get out there. Be a part of the solution. Fight for justice and peace in every forum you can. It matters. For the Asian American population and for every minority population that needs a voice, including ours. On March 4th, we're part of a coalition of churches and synagogues that have organized a forum for the Manhattan DA candidates. The focus is racial justice and de-incarceration, and I've seen some of the questions. They're quite serious. Come, ask questions, listen, tell our potential DAs what you think, or get involved in our social action committee, or support an organization that works against hate of any kind. It will help. Write a letter to a leader expressing your concern. Just do something. We cannot complete the work, but neither are we free to desist from it. I don't know about you, but the moment Purim ends, I start thinking about Passover. And it's coming soon. The Haggadah tells us, in each and every generation, a person is obligated to see himself as if he left Egypt. It's not that once thousands of years ago we were slaves. It's imagine yourself as a slave. It's imagine your own family as oppressed and not free. It's remember the widow, the stranger, and the orphan, for you were slaves in Egypt. It means take care of those vulnerable in your society because you were once the vulnerable one. It's not a request. It's an obligation. As a child, when I learned Jewish history, I had the following thought more than once. Maybe I'm not alone. I don't know. I wondered, if I had been living in a time of grave hatred towards Jews, and I was not a Jew, what would I have done? What would you have done? Would you have helped? Would I have helped? Would we have helped a little? A lot? Now is the time that you can answer that question for yourself in our own time. What happened then in Jewish history is not the same as what's happening now, in many, many different ways. The scale, the proportion, the hurricane of hate, the violence is not equivalent. But if that suffering had any meaning at all, we can use it to fuel our action now. My prayer for tonight, for all of us, is this. May we, the Jewish people, learn our history. Da lifnei mi ata omed. May we know before whom we stand. May we understand our past so that it guides our present. May we be ambassadors of justice, equality, and kindness. And may God grant us peace for us and for the world entire. Shabbat Shalom.